We're in Chinatown in the very heart of London, a hive of activity as people set up for a new day of business. You'll find Chinatowns like this as far afield as Los Angeles, Johannesburg, Manila and even Dubai. As the world's second largest economy, China's influence on all our lives is huge, affecting not just the food we eat, but also what we buy, how much we pay for it, what languages our children learn at school, and even the air we breathe, with China's huge environmental impact. Ever heard the phrase, when the global economy stops, China shops? Well, it's true. Up until recently, China has seemed to laugh in the face of the world economic downturn, providing a lifeline for the luxury goods market and high-end department stores like this one, Fortnum Masons, in London. Chinese tourists buy 1/3 of all luxury goods, and that's just here in Europe. In Asia, it's 50%. Leather goods and jewellery are the biggest sellers for the status-conscious gift-giving Chinese. China already has more than 1 million US dollar millionaires, and what really excites retailers, the fast-growing middle class in China. It's going to be the world's biggest. And this is where that vast spending power comes from: trade. China's huge industrial engine, its seemingly endless supply of cheap labour, has led to a global hunger for its cut-price products, from mops to mobile phones. We're a British container port at the moment, but China is a top trading partner in 78 countries worldwide, including the United States and the European Union as a whole. The impact on the environment of China's huge industrial machine is well known. But the food China eats also has an effect. We're in the Huixing supermarket in London, but in China they have to feed more than 1/5 of the world's population, but with less than 1/10 of its cultivated land. How are you going to do that, especially with wealthy Chinese consumers becoming more and more fussy about what they eat? Take pork, for example. China is now home to more than half the world's pigs, but farmers in China can't feed them, so they import more than 60% of the world's soybeans. This pushes up prices for all of us and raises real environmental concerns. China's international economic presence means we're becoming increasingly interested in its languages and culture. We're at London's Hayward Gallery for an exhibition of contemporary Chinese art installations called Art of Change. 840 million people already speak Mandarin Chinese as their first language, and China has been setting up centres worldwide to promote the language even further. It sees this as soft power and calls it its peaceful rise. But China's actions on the world's political stage can be seen as hard-edged. For example, as one of the 5 permanent members of the United Nations Security Council, recently it vetoed a resolution calling on Syria's president to stand down. China has become involved in regional territorial disputes, for example with Japan and the Philippines. And as the biggest investor in Africa, China has been accused of propping up autocrats such as Zimbabwe's Robert Mugabe and Omar al-Bashir of Sudan. China denies this. And there's an increasingly mistrustful and competitive relationship growing between the United States and China, making China a key topic of debate in the lead-up to this month's US presidential election.